Hello friends, welcome back to my home, or welcome if you are completely new here. Today's video is really exciting because we are going to walk through our home and I'm going to share with you the process, the progress that we have made in the last about year and a half. We've done a lot of changes to our home and really made it our own. It is just such a unique home in the fact that it's an old farmhouse, and we do live in central Pennsylvania, so we live out in a lot of farm fields and things like that around us. So we don't live too near town. We really enjoy that fact, but it does leave some interesting quirks with it being an old farmhouse. The original house is kind of in the center, and then there's two small additions, one of them being this part of the house being the kitchen, and then the other being a porch that was turned into a sunroom that we use as a dining space. We'll get into all of that. I have lots of before and after shots to show you that I'm excited to show you. And of course, if you're totally new to my channel, you may want to start here. It's a great place to get a gist of my style and also the layout of our home. I'm really excited to get started. So we're gonna start here in the kitchen where we've done the most changes, and let me show you guys around. This is the door that we mainly use to come into the house. It leads out to this little sun porch or screened in porch, which I will talk about a little bit later. Right inside the door here, we have sort of a little sitting nook. Initially, when we moved into the house, we had a small table in here, but we switched things around, and this little nook is used as a drop zone, and it's also just used as putting on shoes, and we just got home from work, so we're sitting to chat a bit. And also, my main point in creating this nice little nook was so that people could talk to me while I'm cooking, whether we have guests over or my husband sits there quite often and talks to me while I'm making dinner. And I just love that aspect. So I spend lots of time in the kitchen. If you watch my main channel, this is my second channel, then you already know that this is the heart of the home and we make good use of it. So this was a totally different layout when we moved into this house. There was an awkward island in the middle of the kitchen and a lot of excess space that could have been used a bit better. So we really rearranged things along with painting the cabinets. I love the very cozy cottage type design and decorating style. So I really leaned into that, considering what we're living in is a bit like a cottage out in the countryside, even though I guess it would technically be a farmhouse. There's lots of labels for lots of things. So when you come in the door here, you have the kitchen to the front of you, and then off to the right hand side is this sun porch. We'll get to that in just a moment, but I'm just trying to give you the best bearings of the layout. So we created more of an open concept kitchen and took the island, reused part of it here as the one side of the stove cabinets. And I had this prep table made custom for the size and height I needed. And actually the legs do come off of it, but I do leave it up most of the time. Just gives me a great extra little space and also great lighting from all of the windows in this little seating nook and the skylights that are in here for creating recipes and cooking with you all on that channel. So initially we had just changed up the layout, put in different flooring, painted the walls, just really did everything we could to the core of the kitchen, if you want to call it that, the cabinets and whatnot. And this wall really stayed blank for quite some time. And then a handful of months ago, my husband went ahead and built them for me. And I just love these shelves. It really brings to life the whole cottage feel here. And it just is a nice little nod to the age of the farmhouse as well, without going too modern, which I think is really fun. And then of course the hooks that are on it also bring another storage area and just fun decor area. So we do have a little bit of a challenge when it comes to cabinet space, and so to help out with that, we did add in this pantry cabinet here as well. That was secondhand. We were able to reuse that, which is really, really great. I used to be a very adamant bare fridge person, but lately we've been putting little things to remember up here. I love this Wise Words for Moms. I can leave a link for that below, but just helps you with Bible verses to be able to help your children. And it's just very good. Milena Cinciati here on YouTube actually mentioned that one time, and I have so enjoyed that little chart. On the other side, we just have one of our latest projects. We've been doing a theme of remembering the goodness of God in our household, and so those are some of the little things that the girls have been doing. We are a girl household and we do homeschool, so that you will see a bit in our home and how our home is designed. So I love this little nook here. It's kind of my coffee station. It's where I make my coffee in the morning, and it's right near the refrigerator where I can get my creamers and whatnot. Out this doorway, I have the biggest blessing of a laundry room, which is extremely unusual for an old farmhouse. Generally, the laundry would be in the basement. So the fact that they added on a laundry room here with this kitchen addition, I can't even tell you how grateful I am for this. So we just have a washer and dryer in here, and we did add this little shelf above them because there was just this blank gap between the hoses and things behind the washer and dryer. And I thought it would be nice to have a shelf right here, particularly with this window being here to propagate plants and just to be able to put different things for the laundry if we need to. So besides the washer and dryer, this is a little bit of a bare laundry room. I haven't done a whole lot in here. There is this one coat closet that's right here, which I'm so grateful for. As you will see, this house has little to no storage in a lot of areas. So having this here is really, really nice for coats and laundry and things like that. And also with this random skinny little closet as well, I'm so thankful for this. It houses a lot of my mixers and blenders and other large appliances for the kitchen. And then we have this little small bathroom here. It has the obviously main necessities of a bathroom, but it also has a small stand-up shower in the corner here, and I'm just gonna leave the light off because it's going to wash out this footage if I turn it on. But there's also this small skinny little closet, which just cracks me up. And when I painted this bathroom, I just left it the original wood color that it was because it's such a funny little quirk of the house. So coming back out this way, we are back to the kitchen. And if you go to the left here, it is another entryway into the living room, which we will get to that here in a bit. But this is the other side of the kitchen, and this here had an old oven in it when we originally came into the house, and it did not even fit a full-size cookie sheet. So that's the type of oven it was. It was really small, very old style, and so we were able to, with the new layout, just take that out and make another storage area to house the microwave and any other bins or baskets we want to put in there. So obviously this is the bulk of the cabinetry in the kitchen, and I have to be very creative with my organization and storage, as you all have seen a lot here on this channel. And we did put the large farmhouse size sink in, which I'm so thankful for. I love that sink. And then I just have a regular drip pot coffee maker over here for when we have guests over, which is fairly often, especially with family. I have a big family that's very close, and so being able to make a pot of coffee, and my husband really loves drip pot coffee. So that is a little necessity on our countertop. And then I recently got this bread box, which is also so nice. to store bread and vitamins and other things like that. So coming back over here, again, we are at this door. We're coming back around to our dining room area slash sunroom. When I tell you the love I have for this room, particularly in the winter months, we do have long winters here in Pennsylvania, and they can feel very doom and gloom a bit. The sun, you just miss the sun. And so with it being very overcast and cloudy and dark during the winter time, having this space with all of these windows to do our schoolwork, to eat our meals, to feel like we are outside without being outside is, I wouldn't trade it. I just love it so much. This room has gone through different transformations. As you all have seen, we did have our office space in here for a while, but just really felt the need to have a designated dining room since there is not another room that's feasible for that in this house. So initially this house had a wraparound porch. You can see through this funny little window that there's a front porch out there, and that is actually one of my next projects that you all will be seeing very, very soon. So with this being a very narrow room, we had to get kind of creative with the table space. So we had this table, very narrow table, but it works perfectly fine for us to eat as a family. But like I said, we have lots of extended family and friend activities here at our house. And so having this foldable table from IKEA is very nice. We just line it right up with this one. It works great to make a big long table in here for everyone to eat or to craft or to whatever we're doing in here. I recently added this little lamp just for in the evenings. I love lamps, so I love to be able to make our house very glowy in the evenings and just cozy and inviting for our family or if we're having friends over. So I'm not gonna go into great detail in this video because we have plenty of other things to talk about, but this is my patio garden out here. We've had a lot of rain in the last little bit, as you can see how green everything is, and it's gone a bit wild, but you can see I've got tomatoes on that one out there. There's a lot going on out there, but we're gonna leave that for another time and place. One other thing I wanted to mention is that this room has gotten painted. It was a very brown pine, I believe, and it had a lot of damaged pieces, which it still does, but having them painted one color helps to hide a lot of the damage that was in here. Initially, I believe someone had used this as a hot tub room, interestingly enough. And so I believe that the floor had some water damage and things like that before we moved in. And so they replaced the floor before we moved in. And then I painted it to make it what it is now. So enough about this room that I love so much. Let's move on in to the living room. This space has gone through a good bit of transformation as well. It is such a cozy nook of a place. And one of the questions I always get whenever I show our living room is, why don't you have blinds or curtains? So first of all, nobody can see in our windows because our neighbors are not close enough to see in our windows. Like I said, we do live, you know, pretty far away from most people. We're not in town and that sort of thing. So we don't have to worry about privacy issues. But along with that, this room, if you can't tell on camera, is very dark. It's not bright and light. One of the reasons for that is because of the screened-in porch that is out here, but also you can kind of see right there, there's a large pine tree that towers over this side of the house. And so with that, it gets very dark, and if I were to put curtains or blinds in here, it would be all that much more darker. And so that's why I have just left it as is, and we really don't ever think about it, especially with the entire tree line and woods that are on that side of the house. You can kind of see out the windows. There is just really nobody going to be seeing in those windows. So I'm gonna give you a nice little pan in here. We've got this side of the living room. This is so typical of the old farmhouse where you have a beam down the center of the living room, and then you have kind of two sides of it. A lot of times because one side was used as a dining room and the other side was used as a kitchen. So we think this was the dining room side and this other side was the kitchen side, just because of the way that a couple of things are in this living room, but we really don't know. And I just find the history of homes so fascinating and would love to know more about this house than I already do. So who knows, maybe I'll be able to figure that out. But I recently redid this coffee table. I found it secondhand, and you all saw the process of that in a video. We love this couch. It just creates so much space and storage for us. Every single square that you see here has storage underneath of it, and this hosts a lot of fun family and friend game nights where we can all sit around that big old coffee table and play a game, or we can cozy up and have fun conversation. So this little collage here is missing a frame right there. It fell off the wall and I need to get it back up there, but you know what? My home is not always perfect and things are not always put into place, and I just wanted you to know that, and that's why I didn't put it back up before I started filming. So I'm not gonna go out onto the screened-in porch out there. You can see our beautiful driveway that goes out. It is covered with trees and we just love that so much. But like I said, we will be getting to the project of that front porch very soon, and you all will see that in a video coming up. So on this side, there's our Zaylee girl. She's taking a little snooze. That's one of her favorite spots. But on this side of the living room, we have another sectional, a reclining chair that either my husband or I are generally in the evenings. It's one of my favorite reading spots. I'm a big reader, so I have this little stand because I put my coffees on it. Sometimes that gets moved over there too, but highly recommend getting one of those. I found that at TJ Maxx. If you see one of them, so great. You can stick it anywhere to hold your drink when you're reading or doing anything else. So between this seating area and the large couch behind me, we have a lot of room to really have everyone sit in here when we have a large group of people here. The other thing we can do is put chairs over here, which we've done because these two doors are a closet that we've turned into our office, and I'm going to show you all that here in a moment. But as you can see, there is the door out to the dining room, and then there is the door to the kitchen. So it's pretty much a big circle. When my nieces and nephews are here, this is the circle that is ran around and around and around, because children tend to do that in any type of home that has some sort of circle to run. I remember doing that as a child too. So over here on this side, we have the stairwell that goes upstairs. Super typical of an old farmhouse, very narrow, steep stairwell that has been painted very nicely and just sends you right upstairs. Okay, so this has been an interesting little, I had a real moment that I decided to make this in to our office space, and it has served us so well. I'm not going to turn the light on in there, but there is lighting that lights up everything. This is my side, creative person's side, and then my husband's side, who's just more of a non-aesthetic thinker type personality. He just is fine with the plain Jane and nothing too excessive, so him. And then I have over here my Cricut up top. I've got books I want to read. That's my little like to be read shelf, and baskets, and all of my paper crafting stuff over here. So this is just such a lifesaver for us. With us both having our own businesses, it's just a nice little office area that we can close away when we're having people around, and we're able to pretty well keep it in the middle of the house without it being in the middle of the house, if that makes sense. So it works out so well to have that set up like that. This is our just TV area. It's the best place that it fits in this house. And we're gonna go ahead and head upstairs and show you the projects I've been working on up there. and the great before and afters of the second level. In the upstairs of this old farmhouse is 3 bedrooms and a bathroom, and they are mighty small. In fact, only one of the bedrooms has a very small wardrobe-sized closet, and so we've had to make the absolute best of this. In one of those bedrooms, my 3 daughters share a triple bunk situation, and they actually requested to be in the same room. They love it. They are each a year apart. They are 7, 8, and 9, and so they do everything together, and having a never-ending sleepover is just a part of sisterhood for them. We did have our oldest daughter in one of the other bedrooms, but this idea was so attractive to them and they wanted to do this, so we decided to go ahead and do it so that we can turn the other bedroom that my daughter was in into a schoolroom / playroom, which we will get to here in a moment. So without closets, the challenge of being able to store things in these small rooms is one that I had to tackle pretty much right away as soon as we moved in. And one of the ways we've been able to do that is this triple bunk is situated high enough off the floor that we're able to slide a lot of baskets underneath of it. And I do capsule wardrobing so we don't have tons of excess clothing, which helps the situation out as well. But I also put some nightstands in here just for undergarments and smaller things for them to keep in here. I found some great ones on Amazon, and that's what I'm doing here, is putting all of that together. I would love to personalize this room a bit more in the future, something that's been on my mind a lot recently, how to make this a bit more, I don't know, unique maybe is the best word. I love things that kind of have their own unique spin, and so I've been considering how to bring some more color and other things to this space. So that may be something you see in the future coming up. Either way, we've been able to make this work for all 3 of them, and they have really enjoyed just spending that extra time when they're waking up in the morning or when they're going to bed together. So like I mentioned, there's also a bathroom, which was actually newly remodeled when we moved into this house. So we were able to enjoy this brand new space along with all of the flooring, and a lot of the walls in this upstairs space had been newly remodeled as well. So everything was freshly painted, and it just gave me a blank slate to start off with. But again, with the very tight spaces of this old farmhouse, this bathroom had its own set of storage challenges. So one of the ways that I tackled this was putting a shelf from IKEA behind the door. I realized that there was, maybe about 8 to 10 inches worth of wiggle room behind this door, and I found this perfectly sized shelf in the bathroom section at IKEA actually. So it is for bathroom storage. And then I also found a very large 2-section hamper at IKEA as well. And it really helps us out because we don't have space in the bedrooms to really store hampers very easily. So this is our, hamper that everybody uses, which works perfectly in the bathroom with the shower and everything there. So with that, there was also a cabinet mirror combination that had some storage behind it. It's not my most favorite aesthetic piece in this space, but it is very useful and very needed with the lack of storage. I have a few other ideas I may work with in the future of some storage options in this bathroom, but it can be very challenging as a family of 5 to have everybody in and out of this when we're getting ready to all go somewhere at once. So trying to make it as useful as possible and as quick and easy to get in and out of as we need to is important. We also have mirrors in the bedrooms, so if somebody needs to comb their hair in there, they can do that if someone else is taking a shower. So we just have had to put a few things in different places in the upstairs to sort of make up for how small of a bathroom space there is. With that being said, I'm super thankful we have 2 bathrooms in this house. A lot of old farmhouses only have 1 upstairs. So with that other shower and bathroom, as you saw in the downstairs, we do have the extra room of that, and I am so grateful for that. Keeping things neutral in this space and not overly colorful was what I was going for. Just with as small as it is, it just needs to be very calming and neutral. So our room is the only one that has a very small closet in it. And this went through a few different transformations, but recently you all saw me putting it together with some nightstands that finally I found nightstands that fit this space. It's just a very narrow space. There's really only one layout that works with the bed to be able to have nightstands. And so I found this amazing bed. I've been looking for something that fits the style of this home as best as I can, and more that cottage neutral look that I love so much. And all of this worked out perfectly to be able to save space on our very small nightstands. I did hang some lights that we can adjust to a dim setting if we want to at night. I was just using it to read the other night. I was able to dim it down really far so my husband could still sleep, but I was able to sit and read. So having that adjustable option with those light bulbs in there is really nice. And just making this tiny little space work for us. It is challenging. Like I said, I've said that over and over about this house, but I wouldn't trade the location. I wouldn't trade the memories we've made here. And there is something so cozy and quaint about living in a cottage style sized home. Even with all of the ways you have to find to store things. Another thing that we do is we do under bed storage in here as well, along with our closet, but I myself keep my wardrobe very capsule sized, and my husband does too for the most part. So we don't keep huge walk-in closet sized wardrobes just because we simply can't in this space. The ceilings are not incredibly high in the upstairs of this home, per usual with old farmhouses. And so I did hang up some curtains that would bring your eyes sort of up to the ceiling and make the ceilings feel a bit taller than what they actually are, along with some other creative storage. I found an ottoman that I could do some storage in and a wall hanging jewelry organizer for my things. Just have to get kind of, I don't know, find unique ways to store things. And I have lived in a tiny home before, so that gave me some experience on doing that. And if you live in a really small house, I would love to hear your best tips on unique storage options and being able to keep things organized without having piles and piles of things all around whenever you don't know where to go with them, because there simply isn't anywhere to go with it. The last space and room you're gonna see in the upstairs of our house is the one that was my daughter's bedroom for a short period of time, but more recently we have turned it into our homeschool room / playroom, and it's worked out so well. The girls desperately needed this space. Having seen the downstairs of our home, you know, there just simply isn't a lot of room for children's things and toys and books and all the things that go with homeschooling. And so turning this space into an area where they can be creative, where we can learn together, was just perfect. All 3 of my girls definitely have some of my creative bugs, creative genes. And so they love arts and crafts and Legos and building things and whatnot. So they needed table space to do that. They needed space to leave those messes per se out sometimes more than one day versus trying to clean it up off of the dining room table every single night. It just has been such a huge blessing to have this area, and the girls have enjoyed it to the fullest. It's also given them an opportunity to find responsibility in keeping this organized, because it becomes chaos very quickly, especially whenever you have 3 very creative girls all in one room doing 3 different projects, and they're on top of each other. They're doing things. They have to learn to put those things away and just keep track of all of their things. So I gave them a lot of options to be able to do that, lots of storage and shelving and things like that to keep all of their imaginative play and arts and crafts and our supplies that we use for learning in our schoolwork. One thing I do lean into in my home is definitely thrifting things, finding things secondhand, and a lot of the baskets I've used to organize in our playroom / schoolroom have been thrifted or secondhand. I also reuse things, so sometimes things like this drawer set that you see was used in our office setup initially when we had that in our dining room, and so I reused it up here. I definitely try to keep things as budget friendly as I can and not always having to repurchase things or purchase new things every time I reorganize a space. There are times for that, for sure, but when I can reuse things, I definitely do. Keeping things decluttered in a small home like this is obviously very key. So that's why I do a lot of decluttering so that we're able to manage keeping life running in our small little cottage farmhouse home that we love so much. So the last thing that I want to talk about is our outdoor spaces that I have worked on, and one of them being the screened-in porch area. We use this so much with the table in here, and it's really kind of an extension off of our kitchen. Since it is off the kitchen, on nice mornings and evenings we tend to eat breakfast and dinner out here. It's just another table space for when we have friends and family over. It is just so thoroughly enjoyed, and we also store our shoes out here as well. And the breeze comes through so nice in this space, and it just makes it very, very comfortable. Off of the screened-in porch area, I have a deck area that I was able to really pull together this year, and this was where I planted my patio garden. We have an umbrella and chairs out here, so again, it's shaded if we want to use it at different times of the day. And I even put a little fountain out here to just create some ambiance. We have string lights that go around the railing, so at night it's very glowy and inviting. And of course we have a little fire table here as well, so we can enjoy that on cooler evenings. And it has just been such a great hangout space to have friends and family in as well. So I hope that this video inspired you guys. I hope that you got a good idea of how this house is laid out, and maybe you've been around for a long time and we're able to see the progress on the things that we have done in this house. It's been a lot, really. I mean, even seeing the before and afters again, haven't seen them for a while, but with the kitchen, I just really am amazed at how transformed the space has gotten. If you're new here, I'd love it if you subscribed and joined my channel. I do all things homemaking, home organization, home management, and cozy living, because I love making our home feel so cozy and just inviting. And leave me a comment below. I love to chat with you all. I'll see you in my next video.